All right, guys. Finally, we come to the interesting part, that is plays and playbooks, where all the magic happens in Ansible. So, everything that we did till now was a prerequisite to understand plays and playbooks in depth and in better way, so that we can easily start scripting inside the infrastructure space using Ansible. So, let's move on. So what exactly is a playbook? So it's simple structure format, as we have seen few snippets in the previous example as well. A playbook is a YAML file that defines one or more plays. Now a plays here can be a task or a collection of tasks. So we will see that in the next slide. So playbooks are used to orchestrate tasks across the host. So they passing the inventory file, we can carry out multiple operations that we desire or we need to automate across the servers, which can be done easily via Ansible. So, and what exactly a place is now? A play is a mapping between a group of hosts and tasks to be run on them. So, if we want two different tasks to be run on two different hosts, so what we will do, we'll not create a single play and like crunch everything up inside one. So we will create two different plays which will be divided into specific tasks on the specific host. So as you can see here, it is mentioned one play targets one or more hosts and defines tasks, roles, or variables, etc. So let's directly dive into an example. As I understand, it's very difficult to understand verbally. So here is an example. So like just from a first glance, without understanding what Ansible is, what exactly does this playbook doing? So you can take a pretty while guess. So we can see that a task is named called as install nginx, and we can see a module that is nginx being present over here. So we can assume that nginx module is being installed on the host server. So the hosts are also mentioned over here, that is the web servers. And the second task is present, that is start nginx. That is after installation, you have to start the service of the nginx. So it's that's it. It's pretty straightforward. How a task that manually takes a few seconds, or a script, Python script takes 50 lines of code, can be done using Ansible. So let's now deep dive into what, and we'll just divide this structure into of the playbook and understand in much detail. So as we can see the parameters that are present in a play. So you can see name, hosts, become, vars, and tasks. So in this, I will say, I will help you understand each and every parameter. So the name. So where this dash space name is present. So this dash implicates this is a entry in a list. So according to the logic, this is the first play inside a playbook. So if after this entire code we press once more, we enter a dash, then a second play will be derived from there. And so these keywords are important inside these playbooks. So the name suggests that we can give any name to our playbooks, which will help us understand what the play is essentially. This can be anything as per your requirement. So next is hosts. So now host is important, that what are the web servers or the DB servers or any servers that we are targeting inside this playbook that we mention inside this host. Now we will in previous lectures we have seen the inventory file, and we saw groups in that inventory file, or the parent. So essentially, the parent or the groups can be mentioned over here, or a single host or node can also be directly mentioned over here using its alias. So it then the Ansible will target all the hosts which are present under the group or the single host, and it will only run on the host on mentioned in this play. So the third parameter is become. So what become is, we had discussed this previously. So become gives us privilege escalation, that is essentially sudo su, what we do in Linux, so that we get root access, that is the root user access. So that few tasks, suppose like installing a module that requires root access. So we explicitly mention it to Ansible that become is yes, that it will by default escalate the privilege of the user before accessing. And the variables we have discussed in detail in the variable section what variables are, and if we require them here, then we can mention it. So all the variables go under this variable section. And finally, where all the magic happens is the task. Now, a task is a array of tasks. Suppose there is a single task or double, or we have to mention 10 tasks. So we can separate it using a dash. So the dash essentially indicates that this is a single solo task. So as you can see that dash name. So inside this, the name is again, it's up to you and user defined. So you can name anything you want. And APT, what APT is actually a module, and what module is, we will not discuss it over here. We have a section specifically dedicated to what module is. So for now, just understand that this APT module helps us install the Nginx model inside. As you can see in the next task, so we have given the same name section, and after that a service. Now service is again another module that we leverage to start the Nginx service. So out of these sections, now I will tell you that hosts and tasks are the by default we have to mention it, because those are compulsory sections that need to be present in the Ansible playbook. The name, variables, and become is or are optional sections that we can or may not skip while uh, creating a playbook. So as we discussed previously, so these web servers, what is a group of web servers that is being pre-fed from an inventory file. So this is the inventory file. You can see this format is quite familiar to us by now. So the web 1 and web 2 are two web servers which are consolidated under one group, that is web servers. And so the tasks will be run on all the hosts which are under the web servers, which are web 1 and web 2. And these are the modules. As I mentioned, we will discuss it in more detail in the next lectures. So finally, how to run a playbook. So it's a simple command. After we install Ansible on the Linux machine, Ansible-playbook-I. Now here inventory that we have to pass in an inventory file if you want to use one, or else Ansible will use its own inventory, default inventory file. So after passing this, we have to mention the name of the inventory file name that is present under our directory. So that will help us help Ansible to pinpoint the inventory file which it has to refer while for running the playbook. And finally, the playbook's name that we have mentioned, we have created using the YAML format, and we have to pass it away. So once you click pass it through a CLI and click enter, all the tasks which are present under this playbook will automatically start running. All right, that's all for this lecture, and we see you in the next one. Thank you.